Oh, beautifully done. Bastoni!
Inter Milan's 2024-25 campaign started with high hopes, but ended in bitter disappointment. For the first time since 2020, the Nerazzurri finished a season without a single trophy. Even after pushing to 2 Champions League finals in recent years, they still ended the season empty-handed. A sudden and sharp decline from where they'd been. Well, how did they all come to this? Indeed, it was a perfect storm of failures on all fronts. Welcome back to No Ball IQ, and today we're diving into the spicy drama cooking at San Siro. It might sting to some fans, but I'm here to break it down from a neutral perspective. Hope y'all will stick around. We definitely want to start with Serie A slip-up. Inter surrendered their Serie A title bid in a photo finish, ending second, just 1 point behind champions Napoli. On top of that, a late-season stumble saw the Scudetto slip away on the final day too, a gut punch after they had led the race for long stretches. Then comes AC Milan's derby dominance. Despite AC Milan's own struggles, they absolutely owned Inter in head-to-head clashes. The derby bragging rights swung red and black. Inter failed to win any of the 5 Milan derbies, suffering 4 losses and a draw. That run included a painful Coppa Italia semifinal exit where Milan thumped Inter 3-0 at San Siro. As if that wasn't bad enough, in January's Supercoppa Italiana final, Inter blew a 2-0 lead and lost 3-2 to Milan in a dramatic collapse. Talk about adding insult to injury, their city rivals, who struggled elsewhere, turned into Inter's boogeyman whenever a trophy was on the line. Subsequently came the European heartbreak. Inter did brilliantly to reach the UEFA Champions League final, fueling treble dreams for a while. But in the final, reality hit hard. In Munich, Inter were crushed 5-0 by Paris Saint-Germain, the largest margin of defeat in Champions League final history. A night that was supposed to crown their season turned into a nightmare as PSG ran riot and Inter's players looked shell-shocked. It was a humbling end to their European run. From aiming for multiple titles to ending with 0, Inter's fall was swift and brutal. By early June, the club was left licking its wounds, and the fallout wasn't just in the trophy count. It would soon shake up the coaching staff as well. Obviously, the aftermath of the season saw major changes off the pitch. Just 3 days after the Champions League final debacle, head coach Simone Inzaghi left the club by mutual consent. Inzaghi didn't stick around for a rebuild. Instead, he took a lucrative offer from Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal, reportedly earning over 20 million euros per year. It's a blow for Inter and Serie A to lose a top coach in this manner. But you could say Inzaghi chased the bag, but it also felt like he jumped ship at a low point, sensing the end of a cycle at Inter. Inzaghi's departure underscored that this Inter squad had peaked and was aging out. Many key players are on the wrong side of 30, and the core that won trophies in recent years is starting to creak. Veterans like centre-back Francesco Acerbi, playmaker Henrik Mkhitaryan, and others have given great service, but they can't carry the team forever. The dire finish to 2024-25 made it clear that a refresh was needed. Inter's 5-season run of winning at least 1 trophy was over, and the club had to pivot toward a new chapter. Enter Cristian Chivu. The former Inter defender and 2010 Champions League hero was appointed as the new head coach on a 2-year deal. Chivu had been coaching at youth and lower levels. Now, he's thrown into the deep end with the senior side. It's both an exciting and daunting task. But he's a beloved figure among fans, and he inherits a dressing room with bruised egos and heavy expectations. Chivu has signaled he'll trust younger players and try to build a new identity. After all, if this truly is the end of a cycle, it's his job to start the next one. Although the timing was challenging, because even as Inter tried to regroup under new management, they had another competition to worry about: the expanded FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. Inter's season wasn't over yet. They still had the inaugural expanded FIFA Club World Cup in the summer of 2025. Hopes were that the change of scenery might lift spirits, but instead, it only underscored the fatigue and frailty in the squad. Traveling to the United States, Inter looked visibly drained. They opened with a 1-1 draw against Mexico's Monterrey, needing a late goal from Lautaro Martinez just to scrape a point. They then squeaked past Japan's Urawa Red Diamonds 2-1, again with a goal in stoppage time, saving them. Metabo win over River Plate followed, which was their only relatively comfortable result. But come the round of 16, Inter were stunned 2-0 by Brazil's Fluminense and sent packing. In that knockout match, the Italians looked flat and failed to pose a real threat until it was too late. It was an underwhelming tournament for a team that arrived as one of the title contenders. By this point, the players were clearly running on fumes. Captain Lautaro Martinez admitted, "It was a long and tiring season. We finished empty-handed," while apologizing to fans. And indeed, I fully agree with Lautaro. Inter had played a marathon of matches across multiple competitions. Fatigue was obviously a factor. The legs were heavy, and the minds perhaps heavier after so many setbacks. However, every top club has a packed schedule like that, and others managed to cope. Inter can't pin the collapse solely on tiredness. Something was off mentally, too. The Club World Cup showed that even with a new coach and a theoretical clean slate, the team's confidence was shattered. Lautaro was one of the few players who seemed to fight for every ball, trying to drag Inter forward. Frustrated by his teammates' lack of urgency, he finally reached a boiling point after the Fluminense loss. The stage was set for some blunt truth-telling. As Inter crashed out of yet another competition, their captain did not hold back in the post-match interview. What Lautaro said next would ignite a very public war of words within the club.
The post-match interview in Charlotte turned simmering tensions at Inter into an open flame. Captain Lautaro Martinez vented his frustration on camera, delivering a blunt message to any teammate whose heart wasn't in the club. "Here you have to want to stay. Those who don't want to stay must leave," Lautaro said pointedly. He added that he had seen many things that he didn't like in the team's attitude. Crucially, he didn't drop any names, but everyone had a good idea who he was talking about. All signs pointed to Hakan Çalhanoğlu. The Turkish midfielder had missed the Club World Cup with an injury, and rumors were rife that he was already eyeing a transfer to Galatasaray. He was even spotted in Istanbul days earlier, with his barber teasing a potential move on social media. Çalhanoğlu hadn't exactly denied the gossip either. When pressed about his future at a recent wedding, he gave a cryptic, "Whatever is best for my transfer, may it be so, inshallah," hardly a pledge of loyalty. So, Lautaro's scathing remarks were widely interpreted as a shot at Çalhanoğlu. On top of that, Inter CEO Giuseppe Beppe Marotta then addressed the situation, and instead of diffusing it, he essentially confirmed the target. Marotta told reporters that Lautaro's reaction was understandable, and when a player shows that he wants to leave, he will find the door wide open. This refers to Çalhanoğlu. Even though he urged not to scapegoat Hakan, but also acknowledged that the club would have a conversation with the midfielder, and if Çalhanoğlu truly wanted out, they'd accommodate him, it was a startling public admission. In one stroke, Inter's top executive had named a player who might depart, making internal discord official news. A normally private locker room issue was now playing out in headlines. Within a day of their Club World Cup exit, the captain had effectively called out a teammate, and the CEO had backed Lautaro up and even identified the player. The Inter faithful were stunned, and all eyes turned to Hakan Çalhanoğlu. How would he respond to being hung out to dry in public by his captain and president? On July 1st, he released a statement on social media, a firm but measured reply to Lautaro and Marotta's remarks. He said he was shocked by the divisive comments from within the club and stressed that he has always given his all for Inter. "I respect every opinion, even that of a teammate, even that of the president." But respect is not a one-way street, Hakan wrote pointedly. He suggested that true leaders stick with the team in tough times instead of looking for scapegoats, and noted that history will remember those who stood tall, not those who raised their voice the loudest. This was clearly a shot back at Lautaro's outburst. Çalhanoğlu even hinted his own future at Inter was uncertain, adding, "We'll see what comes next." One peculiar twist in the saga was that Marcus Thuram reportedly liked Çalhanoğlu's Instagram post, the only Inter player to do so, a gesture that hinted at a rift in the dressing room. Whether that social media like meant much or not, it fueled speculation that Chivu might need to play peacemaker within the squad.
Now, the new coach has the unenviable task of restoring unity and focus. Inter's management must also decide Çalhanoğlu's fate. They won't keep unhappy players, but they also won't sell for cheap. As of now, Galatasaray has not met Inter's asking price for Hakan, which is reported to be around 35 to 40 million euros. So it's quite possible he remains with Inter, though that might create an awkward scenario. Anyway, to wrap up, Inter are desperate to turn the page, and fans hope this turbulent summer will clear the air and galvanize the squad. If the team can unite and channel the adversity into determination, last season's downfall might become the foundation for a resurgence. But if divisions persist, the Nerazzurri could face more rough waters ahead. Only time will tell whether this storm marks the end of Inter's cycle of success or the start of a new chapter for the club. Until then, comment below your thoughts on Inter Milan, and don't forget to subscribe to No Ball IQ. Peace.